Welcome to the Friends and Rivals podcast.
Verhage wins the series for Florida, and this joyride ends in a Hindenburg-like ending. The Bruins are the second record-setting team in a row to drop the series in the first round.
Let's talk Devils and Islanders, let's talk Penguins and Rangers, but let's not talk about Flyers, cause they're a bunch of fucks, which no one can deny.
Episode 113 of the Friends and Rivals podcast coming at you live and hot. I'm one of your hosts, Tom Harkness. Joining me each week on
Stephen Anthony Wojtowicz.
Barry White.
Jeff Newsdick.
Wow. Celebrity cast.
But you don't sound that bad. You
don't sound
fairly close to normal.
You don't get deep, sick voice.
No.
Oh, I don't?
No.
Well,
No.
it's deep. It's deep until it cracks. And then when it cracks,
Steve,
Billy
please
won't
say
get
that Peter
Billy
Brady
won't get this
is
joke.
beat up.
Billy won't get this joke. You get Monica sick voice.
I know that's from Friends.
What else do you know?
Monica, I mean, Joey's favorite fruit is sandwiches.
What?
When the
All
hell
right,
did this happen?
We're not going to start with hockey. Well, we are going to start with hockey.
What?
We are going to start with Steve's consequence from losing Friends and Rivals the cup, because I know that's what everybody has been waiting
I
for.
don't think-
And the big reveal comes today. In fact, let's go. So, after much deliberation, your consequence is going to one of Casey's ice hockey games, taking pictures
Uh-huh.
of the game,
Mm-hmm.
wearing a jersey of Bill's choice. It can be, you have to wear it pre through post game activities. So if you go out to eat afterwards, you got to wear it to the restaurant. You got to wear it driving to the arena, and all throughout. You cannot cover it up, and it must be on your person. You can't do anything to the jersey to alter it or anything else like that. You got to wear the jersey that Bill gives you throughout the duration.
And so he does say it's my choice, but you got the accidental text message anyway, so you know where we're going with this. You can choose from a Mark Messier.
This doesn't seem fair.
Rangers.
Listen, this is the most fair. You should hear something
Or
else.
signed.
Oh God,
Stefan
no.
Mattel.
We don't have a Graves. You don't have a Graves jersey?
No,
I
it
do,
wasn't
but
an
that's
option.
not one of the choices, is it?
Oh, it is. Never mind.
Nick was at Costco when we made this decision. Everybody thought this was a good idea.
Do I have
And
to
at
choose
least-
right now?
No, you don't have to choose.
No,
right now.
no.
That'll be
Definitely
the
do not have
suspense.
to choose right now.
Yeah.
No. Take your
Wow.
time, buddy. Take your time. You want to hear some of the other ones we were going to make you do?
Please,
that
I
were
do,
maybe a little too mean, crossing the line. Billy wanted to get you a green shirtsy that had an Irish
theme,
some
yeah.
Irish thing
Yeah.
that you would have to wear. He was also going to make you wear a Trouba shirtsy to a Devils game, which
Oh, God.
I don't know. I thought that was you wouldn't do that.
No.
I think that was really it.
Well, you
All
make
right.
them seem like I was the only one who had ideas. I think you guys had some pretty mean ideas
Yeah,
as well.
You know, I did.
Nah, it was all
Ra-
Billy. Billy's the asshole.
Okay.
I got. Now, Randy did text me. He said, he wanted you to go to church, but I was like, I don't think that's
Yeah,
gonna fly for him,
that
man.
certainly wouldn't be happening.
Randy.
When
Yeah,
I-
Randy.
I was like,
So let me be honest with you. When you started to say go to one of Casey's games wearing I honestly thought the next words out of your mouth were going to be wearing some sort of a cheerleader outfit.
Oh, why
That
did
would have been
we
better.
missed? Oh no!
Why did you guys should have consulted with me.
That would have been better.
wow.
I don't think
Wow.
we could have made you go out looking like a
that would've been-
cross-dresser.
That would've been rough.
Like a
With a
tutu
Bud Light
over
in
a
each
pair
hand?
of jeans or something.
Oh,
Sorry.
Billy. That was good.
Boy, oh boy.
I
So
will.
it's not bad. But Billy also gets to take as many
Oh,
pictures
yeah.
of you as he
Understood.
wants.
Absolutely.
And for those pictures to be used at our discretion.
Absolutely. They will be forwarded right over to the social media team for their use.
And they'll take good care of it, I'm sure.
Wait, you're the social media department.
Oh, well, damn it. How about that?
We're gonna have to work on that for sure.
I am
All right.
nothing if not a gracious loser. I will definitely post the pictures as I lost fair and square.
It's
That's the
all
spirit.
in good fun. It's all in good fun. So playoff time. Nick will start off with the Islanders, and listen, end of the road for 2 out of the 3. Of our team still in the playoffs. We'll start with the Islanders, and then we'll go Rangers Devils.
Isles me and Ben ended up going to game 5. That was a lot of fun. I brought him in I went my jersey, my gigantic Islanders jersey, which I didn't realize is so big, but I think I got it because it was like, when I got it, it was like, it was for like playing in, I guess. I don't know why, but I look at it now and I'm like, why I get such a big jersey? It's like, I'm looking around.
Did you steal it from Michael Pekka after you made him crash on the Long Island Expressway?
I was thinking about that. It might have been a goalie's jersey, honestly. Then I was looking at Ben, and he barely fits in anything, and because he's like 100 pounds in his dreams, and it's basically he was swimming. We had to tuck the jersey in, so hilarious in my old fisherman's jersey, and it was good. We had a good time. Carolina fans didn't give us too much of a hassle. Nosebleeds, and it was a good time. We center seats, could see everything. Isles played well in the game and got an early lead on a kind of one of those, just didn't seem like it was going to be a much of a problem kind of goal, and Engvall, it was able to get in front of the net and get a push one past Ranta, and that was pretty much the start of the game. Couple more goals that were kind of deflection, and then I think Barzy had a nice 2-on-1, which he took the shot on and scored. But yeah, it was a good time. Ate too much food. Ended up going almost on one way the wrong way on the way home. I didn't realize it was where I was exactly. Why the thing wasn't telling me to turn around, or was like kept trying to redirect.
You are the worst driver after a game ever.
Dude, coming out of the arena, watch out for this.
I was really excited. I don't know what to tell you. I was like, I was on like cloud 9. It was like, it was good. And, I'm like, oh, this looks like a good way to go back home.
Well, there's no traffic going in this direction.
Yeah. It was very short.
On the road.
It was a very short turnaround. Like, I mean, like 200 feet. And then I realized very quickly, I'm like, this is the wrong way. Just got off right away. But yeah, that was game 5, and then game 6 was on Sunday. Was it? Yeah, I guess Sunday, right? No, was it Sunday? Friday game. It was a Friday game. Sorry, Sunday was going to be the game 7 game. We were going to go to. I got 3 tickets. I was like ready. We were ready to go. Obviously, game 6 went the opposite way. I also had the early lead and had all the pressure early. Momentum. They got a goal out of it, but they really needed that second goal, and because it didn't happen, and Carolina slowly took over the game. The third period is all Carolina. Sebastian Aho finally put one through, and that guy has just put the team on his back, man. He's been a powerhouse all series to watch, and that goal helped them a ton, got them into overtime, and bad clearing attempt turned to a turnover, turned into a just throw a shot net and gets lucky, hits Sorokin's skate and just kind of kicks in on a no angle. But hey, man, that's the breaks. You can't blame it on refs at that point or any kind of things you didn't do. It's just, hey, man, sometimes you gotta play better. They didn't play well enough to win that game. Had ample opportunities to score and didn't get it to happen, and then, like I said, Carolina took over in their own building, which sucked because, they had it felt like they had a lot of momentum coming out of game 5, but just ran out of it in game 6. And that was it. So no game 7 for us to go, which would have been fun, but oh well. It was a good time going to game 5, and that's the end of the season effectively for the Isles. Are you going to talk about the
Yeah. So what's next for the Islanders this year?
Yeah. So, interesting stuff coming out of the, clear out day of the lockers and everything, like final kind of, thoughts from players. Sounds like Parise is going to think about whether or not he wants to play another season. He had a real rough time. Apparently he didn't leave. Like he was like just hands and head at the end of the game in the locker room and last guy to leave. And he said basically it's either he'll play for the Owls again or next year or not play at all. So he's kind of seeming like trying to figure out where he wants to be. He had a fantastic season. I can't see him like going out without one more time. I mean, he played fantastic. So that would be interesting to see. Pierre Engvall said he had a good time here, but we'll see what happens. He didn't sound very committal either way. He looked really good with the Isles, and I think he became.
He's an RFA, Nick.
He's a UFA.
He's a UFA.
Yeah. So he was a rental, and that was kind of the idea was, Luke brought him in as a rental and was just with Barzy out. And, but he looked really good alongside Nelson and Palmieri. They formed the best line we had the whole time. He was like, only after a few games, the three of them got put together and they tore it up. They were fantastic. The best line in the series for us.
So let me just jump in there because I was really curious about this guy because I had never really heard of him before.
Yeah.
58 games this season with Toronto, 21 points. 18 games with the Islanders, 9 points. So a little bit better performer on the island, and then 2 points in the 6 playoff games. But
yeah,
when I was watching, it seemed like every shift he was on the ice, you just heard his name the whole time.
It was, it's his speed is deceptive because he's really tall. He doesn't look fast, but he gets going and he gets people, backing off him because of his speed, which, that also have a lot of. So that was very noticeable to have with him on it. And, he opened up the space for Nelson and Palmieri a lot. And both of those guys can do that a little bit too. Like Palmieri can push, on the corners and sometimes push on the edge. And he made some plays where he was able to get, into a position to get like a not a partial break, but a one-on-one and beat the guy. But it was very noticeable. The guy's got a ton of speed, great hands. He can shoot, which was a big surprise. He's not physical though. That's like clearly not his game. But the Isles, the rest of the team is all grit. So I mean, like it kind of fit really well. So it'll suck if he leaves, but we'll see what happens. I mean, if he goes, they definitely need some more speed somewhere else. It was so apparent that we need speed. So he's up in the air. There's another year of Ilya Sorokin. He's got one more year of his UFA. So he did talk a little bit about. He's like, I don't look for a contract. I don't talk about a contract. I don't think about it. But he likes his time here. So hopefully they can come up with something in the next this year to re-sign him long term. Maybe in the summertime. We'll see how it goes. And then we have who else was left? Try to remember who. Oh, so Varley's he's got one more year, but they wanted to come back. He wants to come back. He doesn't want to leave. He's a guy that's
probably get overpaid on the market, don't you think?
Yeah, he doesn't seem to be at that point in his career. He seems to be wanting to be a backup and just kind of stay on the island, which is he might come back cheap. It's kind of the idea. And then Wallstrom talked a little bit for the first time all season since he's been out, and he said he shouldn't miss any time for the camp. There was one other player I wanted to say. Can't think of it now. It's a little too late probably, but I think that's the kind of general gist is everybody's. It was actually part of a 2-year deal was announced like the next day, which is Fashion's coming back for 2 years. He was UFA I think he was going to be a UFA after this.
Did they announce the financials of that contract?
Yeah, it's like 2 years, quarter mil, or quarter mil, the 775 a year for 2 years. So he's making like nothing, which was surprising as hell to me because I thought he'd be making at least a million or 1.5 or something for 2 years. He played his ass off and easily earned the spot in the third line. He was playing third line quite a bit this year. He probably slots down to the fourth line with Wallstrom coming back and maybe anything else happening. But he's coming back for less money than we're paying Ross Johnson to sit on the bench or in the, not even in the box, like 3/4 of the season. He only comes out for like, Rangers, Isles, and, other games where they think there's gonna be a fight. Cause I mean, he's getting $1 million a year and he's doing nothing. And I don't know what the hell we're doing with that guy. That guy is just wasting space. But Fashion's coming back for nothing, and he's gonna slot in probably fourth line this year coming up. I would imagine. I can't imagine that. Well, I guess Clutterbuck and Martin are probably gonna try and play out their contracts this year, depending if they all feel like they can play another year. I'm not really sure how that's gonna work yet. Both guys clearly lost a step. Clutterbuck could barely stay healthy. Martin looked dreadfully slow and just, without if he's not hitting something, he's got that point in his career. He doesn't have the same hands, same everything. So he's looking like this is the last year of his deal, and he'll be probably retiring. I can't imagine he goes anywhere else. But we'll see what happens. The two of them. Josh Bailey was the last guy I wanted to mention before. He said he really kind of wanted to retire an Islander or play out his contract with the Isles was kind of the idea. It sounded like he's probably gonna be moved because he said the writing was on the wall when they scratched him for 5 or 6 days before his 1000th game. And what it ended up doing, if you guys remember, when they scratched him that game, it meant that like the 1000th game wasn't going to be at home.
Right, it was going to be on the road then, right?
Yeah, and of course he was going to have all his family and friends are all getting lined up, tickets to get there, and obviously it didn't happen. It didn't sit well with him, and now I think he said basically his last year of the deal he wants to play. He doesn't want to sit on the bench, or not play, or be relegated to just practicing. So I'm not sure what they're going to do. It sounds like they're going to try and move him probably. We'll see what happens. Hard to move that guy, I feel like, because he's making a little over $5 million more this year, but it's his last year of the deal. Maybe you can get like a Arizona or somebody to take him, although I don't know how many teams are going to be doing that this year. But that's going to be a tough ask now that he's kind of on the outs, and the money that he's eating up, they really could use to resign someone like Engvall, obviously. Or somebody else, right, on the market. So we'll see what happens. But that was kind of the roundup of the team. Didn't sound like anybody really was outside of maybe Engvall, who kind of was very, I liked my time here. It was fun, and we'll see what happens. That's almost kind of like the
standard issue answer.
Yeah, hard to say. I mean, I don't know how many years he played in Toronto, but he can kind of go anywhere, and so his agent may push him to keep his options open.
Just 2.5.
2.5. So
yeah,
I mean, he only played in the Isles for what, 20 games, I think.
18. Yeah.
18, you said. Yeah, so not a lot, but a big impact. So I think it'll be interesting to see what happens. I don't know if Lou was the guy that brought him in to Toronto, but obviously Lou remembered him from there and pulled him over, because I can't imagine any other reason why he was the guy that they pulled over.
Yeah, he was in their system for a long time. I mean, he was a Marley in 2016, 17.
Yeah.
So
there you go. So that's probably the connection there. But that guy could definitely play. So we'll see. But that's the wrap up for the Isles at this point. We'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks.
So unless you lived under a bubble, Game 7 Rangers Islanders, that series concluded last night with the Devils beating the Rangers by a 4-0 count, and that makes it sound like a really close game, and it wasn't. It wasn't even that close. This series for me, kind of was a microcosm of the Rangers season. They started out really well, then took a big giant shit in the middle, then give you a little bit of hope at the end, only to not show up for a huge fucking game. And it seems like 3 weeks ago, we were talking about this exact same thing where the Rangers go and play a Devils team where they had an opportunity to get home ice and maybe to have a 7th game at home, and they don't even show up to the fucking game. That's not everybody on the team didn't show up. There were, Igor showed up the entire series and was very boisterous in his displeasure for the Rangers play from time to time in this series. But it was, if the Rangers didn't score in their power play or score a lot of goals, they weren't scoring at all. And in the end, the Devils just flat out wanted it more. They were the faster team. They were the more disciplined team. And they were the better team, and they deserved to win this series. Not to say that the Rangers didn't have their opportunities, because they certainly did. They had their opportunities to win this game. And one of these two teams, I feel, are going to go pretty far. And boy, this is just a huge opportunity for really anybody in the East or West to make a significant run this year with all the powerhouses losing. The biggest controversy out of last night was the Trouba hit. And it came on a play where Myers kind of looking down as he crossed the blue line, skating from right to left, his right to left, and Trouba just nailed him right in the head. And this has drawn a lot of controversy, internal talking between all of us, but also on the Twitterverse. I don't think that Trouba is a dirty player. I don't feel that his hits are dirty. I feel he plays within the rules. And I say that because he's never been fined. He's never been suspended. He's never really gotten even a penalty for the hits that he's laid on people. Maybe with the exception of the Blackhawks player where he got a penalty for it. But he's never been suspended. He's never been fined. So I'm not sure that I would consider him a dirty player. The timing was just right with Meyer where he came across and he got nailed. And I'm sure Steve is going to have something a little different from his perspective. Kind of like just Billy had the same kind of, Billy and I had the same kind of discussion in last year's playoffs, but I don't consider Jacob Trouba a dirty player. In fact, who would you not want him on your team?
So I
don't want him on my team defensively.
I wouldn't want him on my
true.
team for other reasons. Yeah, I wouldn't want him on my team for other reasons.
Because he had Devils running around him the whole series.
I don't know. I thought about this a lot, obviously, today. And I'm going to say something here, and it's going to be very controversial, and it's probably going to surprise all of you. But Tom changed my mind.
What? This is controversial. No doubt.
As it relates to last night, Tom changed my mind. I do not think so. I'll backtrack. I never thought it was a penalty. I didn't say it was a penalty last night. I didn't say it was a penalty today. I thought it was a hit that he didn't, that was made incorrectly. So again, I still say he comes up before he makes contact. And in the process of coming up, he makes it so that his shoulder meets Timo Meyer's face first.
Well, that's where I have problems. That's where I have issue.
But as Tom pointed out throughout the day, repeatedly, it's within the rules. And you got to play within the rules. The rules are the rules. If you don't like the rules, change the rules. But it was within the rules. He had his head down. Yes. Did he have to do it? No. Could he have hit him just as effectively and not hit him square in the face? Yes, he could have.
No doubt.
And again, I go back to, as you're a kid, no matter what sport you're playing, but if it's a physical game, they always teach you to get low. And if you get low, you'll stay on your feet. You won't fall down after you make the hit, and you'll be in better position for after the hit. And I don't think he just doesn't hit like that. That's just not who he is. He wants to go out and make the big splash. He doesn't want to, he's not concerned with then being in position after he makes the hit.
No, but I don't think there should be a gray area in this. I think if the head is the primary point of contact, regardless if it was accidental, on purpose, I fell into him, too fucking bad. If high sticking, you're responsible for your sticks. A headshot, you're responsible for who you hit and how you hit them. And that rule needs to be changed.
Correct.
1,000%. If they're fucking serious about, making players not vegetables after they're done and retired and not get CTE and fucking blow their brains out, then start fucking doing it right now. Make a stand, NHL, and change the fucking rule.
Now, here's where I'm going to come down on Trouba as a player I wouldn't want on my team. Just because it's legal doesn't mean it's right. Just because something is legal doesn't mean you take advantage of a rule that should be in place, but it isn't. So you do it.
I hear you, but you could make the argument with Hischier in back-to-back games. He ran Igor, not once, twice. Accidentally made contact with the goaltender. One in the crease, one outside the crease. All I'm saying is you can make the argument.
And
just
I
because it's legal doesn't mean it's right.
Well, it's not. I mean, it's not legal to run a goaltender.
Well, he got away. He didn't get penalized for it either time. So apparently it's legal.
There was a lot of penalties that weren't called yesterday.
I think the one thing that since we have started this podcast, one thing that we can, two things we can agree on. Fuck the Flyers.
Fuck the Flyers.
Fuck the Flyers.
And two, the NHL officiating is so far fucking gone that they have no idea what is a penalty and what's not a penalty. You get high sticks in overtime that are blatantly obvious that leads to a series-ending goal, to fucking a charging call that should have been probably a 5-minute major. Sorry to say, a Hischier running into the goaltender that should have been goaltender interference. They have no idea what a fucking penalty is and what is not a penalty. The NHL needs to get its shit together. But
agreed.
It's not just the NHL, is it?
No, it's every
Major League Baseball. It's the National Football. Listen to this. I watched a Knicks game. I watched Game 1 Knicks Heat. Believe it or not. And those fucking referees are abysmal. Yeah, they have no idea what's a foul and what's not a foul. So it's not just the NHL officials. It's everywhere.
That's everywhere. That's true. But I am going to point out that in no other sport does what is a penalty and what's not a penalty completely change when the playoffs begin. They call a completely different game in the playoffs, and that contributes to how like the balance of power changes in the playoffs. It's not the sole reason that some teams can make it in the playoffs, some teams can't, but it definitely contributes.
I do agree with that. There is no other. Balls and strikes are balls and strikes, I guess, in Major League Baseball, and a foul ball is a foul ball. NFL, maybe you can make the argument with pass interference, especially late in the game, that they don't want to decide the game on a penalty call anymore. But yeah, I tend to agree with you, Bill.
That, and you also got the offsides thing, right? Where we don't know what's offsides, what is offsides, and when you have guys coming in and out. You have the World Cup in soccer this year. They put out this new VAR thing for they were using for offsides and it works great. It worked really, really well. Why can't the NHL develop something like this, or go talk to those people that make that technology and have it adopted to NHL? Because I'm sure they have basically chips in all the pucks. They can put chips in the skates. Why can't they figure this out and make it like have it so that even if it happens really quickly, they could have a light go off and some similar light, not the red light obviously, but something that they get the refs to say, hey, call the play dead. They call it dead, come over, they review it, and they see that, hey, this is you can it's offsides, and they can even like do an overlay of like the actual play and look at it. But the idea being that take away this ridiculous notion that anybody can figure out what's offsides in that moment, right? Like you have two guys at best on either side of the blue line, and I'm sorry, on the on the blue line, and are they gonna actually see what's going on? Are they actually gonna see this and all the things happening? Like in soccer, it's just like certain guys are going across you have to be behind the defender before the ball is kicked, right? But in hockey, there's guys like catching up. You got the whole thing where like you can't, if you don't touch the puck, you're not quite offsides yet.
Right.
And there's always
If your
these
skate is
gray
in the
rules.
air, even though it's over the
Yeah,
blue line, you're
all these
offsides.
things, right? There's too many things, and then there's never a clear angle to tell everything every
Right.
time. Of course, for whatever reason, we have all these cameras, we can't see it. So that is, I don't know, it's crazy. And if you watch like in the World Cup, they did it so fast because they had it. It's an automated thing. They didn't lose a lot of time. Tennis, they do the same thing for they realized they couldn't figure out serves because it happened so fast. They put it even just regular shots. They have their own system in place that review, and it comes down and it shows it, and the play resumes in like.
And that's it. And
under
it
10
takes it right
seconds.
out of the official's hand.
Yeah.
Here's your proof.
Yep.
He doesn't
Yeah,
have to be in position like the fucking referee the other night.
And you don't have to hold the whole thing like, oh, I want to use my challenge,
Right.
and if I fail my challenge, then I get a penalty. Like it shouldn't be that way. It should be a real quick thing. Review it. You get a couple of reviews a game, or just have it so like certain things are always reviewed and seen, like offsides. Just take it out of the whole the thing there. It's too much going on. There's no way you can have any of that figured out.
But here's a little bit of a problem, and it has nothing to do with the offsides. I agree with everything you said, Nick. Is that Frank Saravelli at about 1 o'clock this afternoon, or even this morning, he put out a poll about the Trouba hit on Timo Meier being clean and legal, and then he asked everybody to vote: should it be clean and legal? 47% of the people said it should be legal, and 53% said it should not be legal. So out of 23,000 votes, that's probably about 50-50.
But should a question like that be even that close? Should
No.
it be 50-50?
No, it shouldn't be. I think all four of us agree that these headshots should be taken out of the game. And you start finding guys more than the fucking league minimum or league maximum of $2,500 fucking dollars, which is couch cushion change for these fucking guys. If you start really going after their pocketbooks, people say pocketbooks anymore.
Pocketbooks,
wallets,
man purses.
Wallets. That better.
Lots of hockey players carrying their purses. Yeah,
They're more in the wearing
Sometimes
the
the
fanny
fanny pack.
packs.
Satchel.
Wearing the
Well,
fanny
listen,
packs.
I see a lot more people wearing fucking fanny packs nowadays than
Fanny packs are
almost
the
ever
thing,
before.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
but if you go after their wallets and you go after their paycheck a little bit, I'm sure you'll start to see this hitting go down a little bit more, especially questionable hits like what we saw last night.
Just say it right away. If you hit head first, it doesn't matter.
There's no gray area.
Right.
There is no gray area.
And
Accidental. I'm sorry. Match penalty. Sorry.
Intention or
Major.
not, it's you're taking a guy out of the game. If you take somebody out of the game in one way or the other, like you said, if you swing your stick around, you hit somebody in the face with it, it's a penalty. You throw your body at them and you accidentally hit them in the face or helmet or head, and they get knocked out of the game, regardless of getting knocked out of the game, you're throwing a lot of damage to somebody.
If you fucking throw the puck out of your defensive zone and it goes in the crowd, you get a penalty for it.
I know.
I mean,
it's crazy.
what are we doing?
It's crazy.
What are we doing?
So, I don't think it takes anything away from the game. It makes a ton of sense. It's just you have to give accountability to these players. Otherwise, it's like the whole thing of like people are like, oh, let's take fighting out of the game. You take fighting out of the game, you're gonna have more people throwing ridiculous hits at people. The whole idea is the players need to be able to police themselves. And if you have to give them some rules to play around with, right? If you hit somebody in the head, you get thrown out. It's that simple. then you're going to deter a lot of players from doing that because you're going to think twice. Like, especially in a game 7. Are you kidding me? Like, you know what? This exactly thing happened with the Islanders, right? In game 4, they try to get, real hit, they try to get physical, and they did too much. Matt Martin tried to get somebody at the end of a period, just knocked him over. It wasn't even like a big deal. They called a penalty on him, carried over into the next period, and then the same period that Carolina scored right off the bat on the power play. And it was like, that's the kind of shit that you have to be accountable for. You can't be doing that kind of stuff in the playoffs. So it was a check, right? Like, hey, we're not calling this shit. You can't. They were trying to police it. Same thing. Like, you can't just be throwing shit around and just expect it to be, getting that away with it all the time. There's got to be something for them, some consequence that's meaningful. So
I agree. And listen, what's next for the Rangers? I don't even know where to start. They're having their breakup day tomorrow at 10 o'clock.
Should you should you do this next week? Should you?
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what I'm going to say.
Okay.
But Panarin 2 points in 7 games. Lafreniere 0 points in 7 games. I mean, we Zibanejad 1 goal in the series. We can go on and on about players that didn't show up in this series, and about what this team is going to look like next year. And I think we'll do a little bit of that next week, after we hear from the Rangers and breakup day tomorrow. But lastly, before I turn it over, I just hope within the next week that the Rangers will fire their head coach, because I think it's time for Gallant to go. So we'll see what happens, certainly within next week. But I do think, regardless of what happens, I do hope that Gallant is no longer the Rangers coach.
That has to happen. I can't imagine a world where he doesn't lose his job over this. That's utterly ridiculous. Yeah.
No, and people are also, trade Panarin. He sucks in the playoffs. Yeah, okay. He did. He sucked this year. He was fucking terrible. But how much is it the coach? How much is it not the coach? How much is it the player? So if you're going to stick with Panarin,
would you be in the playoffs? And would you be in the playoffs without him?
You wouldn't be. But I think if you're going to stick with Panarin, you got to get rid of the coach. It's one or the other.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the Rangers are at right now. We'll go over a little bit more of this in detail next week after we hear about breakup day. But Steve, floor is yours. Devils advance to the second round to play the Carolina Hurricanes.
So we said in the beginning, one of the keys was going to be power play versus penalty kill. And in games 1 and 2, the Rangers were 4 for 10 on the power play, 40%. In games, Bill, 40%, 4 for 10.
Excellent job.
Thank you. In games 3 through 7, they were 1 for 18, which is 5.5%.
Well, now I'm really impressed.
Thank you.
That's good math.
So whether it was the Devils shifted their strategy on the penalty kill, which they did a little bit, they did a lot more chasing rather than letting the Rangers set up and pass the puck around, or the Rangers switching their power play up to putting Zibanejad on that circle to get the shot off. I don't know what it was, but that made all the difference, I believe. At 5-on-5, the Devils owned them. This series was really the Eric Haula breakout series. He played very well every game he played in. I was very impressed, especially off of a regular season that I wasn't impressed. I mean, he didn't have a goal for the longest time, and I was very, very down on him, but he broke out in a big way this series. So he's in my good graces. Plot showing that he's a big game player, scoring that first goal. Assisting on that first goal in game 7, scoring a goal 39 seconds into game 5. He really came to play. And again, it was just all the role players. Tatar, Mike McLeod scoring yesterday. Just Brad only had the 1 goal, and it was the empty netter to finish things off. And he sure didn't even score and a goal, and Meyer didn't have any points in the series. So it's shocking that they came through with the win After all that, and again, on top of the penalty kill, the switch to Schmid for game 3, he played off his ass, with the exception of, game 6, where he was human. I really thought game 6, they found it. They found their stride again. I thought they had it in games 1 and 2. They lost it in game, 3 was a very even game. It went to overtime. They lost it in 4 and 5, but I thought they found it in 6. I thought they were going to steamroll the Devils yesterday, and I was just utterly blown away with Schmid getting a shutout. So on to Carolina. It's going to be an interesting series. Next time we talk, it will be already 3 games into that series as they play Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. Games 1, 2, and 3. 1 and 2 in Carolina, 3 in New Jersey. Do you want me to talk about that series, or?
The floor is yours.
I mean, 16 different players on Carolina with a point in the first round. Talk about balance. They got speed. They played team defense really well. They've got an aggressive forecheck. Just going to have to hope to benefit on the fact that, 3 of their top players are out, and their goaltending situation seems to be a little bit, not in the best situation. I guess Anderson was 3 and 2, I guess, or Renta was 3 and 2 in the first round. Anderson won the other game, so it's a toss up. I think it's going to be another difficult 7-game series. I think Carolina wins just because they got all the experience again. And I think that matters. Again, the deeper you go into the playoffs, I think experience matters.
You don't want to fall into the. Go ahead, Bill. Sorry.
I was gonna say I kind of like Carolina in this series too. And before this series, I didn't really think Carolina was. I didn't take them real seriously, especially after the way they kind of went out in last year's playoffs. I feel like they're kind of have some shortcomings in the playoffs. And I thought that this Rangers and Devils series, I thought whoever won this series could really go far. The thing that kind of makes me a little bit down on the Devils, even after they had that great game 7, is that they played such an uneven series, and as did the Rangers. I mean, this was a 7-game series, is usually like a classic battle back and forth. And to me, this 7-game series between these two teams was, besides game 3, somebody just kind of didn't show up in any given game. And you gotta show up for Carolina every game. And I definitely think the Devils can win the series. Don't get me wrong. Anybody who's still in the playoffs could go all the way. Anybody still in the playoffs can absolutely win the Stanley Cup, Devils included. But I like Carolina a little bit more in this series because last year they struggled with their special teams. This year they seem to have that in order in the playoffs. I think they use that very much to their advantage against the Islanders. And so I just think they're a tougher opponent this time around, and the Devils are going to have to bring it every night the way they brought it in game 7 to beat the Hurricanes, which they can do. But I would pick the Penguins. I'm going to pick the Penguins. I'm going to pick the Hurricanes in a long series.
The Devils don't want to fall into the same trap that the kind of Rangers fell into last year with having, going 7 in every series. If you have the opportunity to close it out, you got to close it out early.
Right.
I think that's going to be their saving grace in round 2 if they can close it out in 5 or 6.
Which maybe maybe not closing
way
it out.
Better off.
Maybe not closing the Rangers out in 6 is going to cost them now this round because they had to play that extra very high intensity game.
Potentially.
And now it's time for Trivia with Bill. Yeah.
Now this is the wrong Bill.
Thank you. Okay. In 1993, Chris Draper was traded to the Detroit Red Wings for
Claude Lemieux.
No, believe it or not.
His
No.
No, every time I hear Chris Draper's name, I hear Claude Lemieux. It's got to be.
No, that's incorrect. So you're supposed to tell us what Chris Draper was traded to the Red Wings for.
A bag of pucks.
Damn.
That's close. That's close, but I can't accept that answer.
Bag of dicks.
Less close, kind of gross, but also incorrect.
Maybe Steve's favorite player. Future
Scott Niedermayer?
considerations. No, future considerations.
Oh, no, that they traded their considerations.
Was it a plate of octopus?
No, I think it kind of has less value than that, actually.
Okay.
Was it some
Less
Budweiser?
value?
Yeah, I'm going to say so. I don't think you can get a plate of octopus for what they traded them for.
Wow.
Given that it's Detroit, I'm going to say some Little Caesars pizza.
Pizza. No, was not.
Well, Nick had a really good one. You can't just glance over what Nick said before. Nick, you got to say it louder.
Some Budweiser? Was it a 6-pack of Budweiser?
Well, no, Bud Light. Bud Light's actually the cheaper one now, but
Oh, it's Michigan. How about bottled water?
no.
Flint bottled water, right?
Yeah,
Was it
Flint, exactly.
Was it a
Metallic.
lake house? Was it a lake house on Lake Michigan where you can spend the summer painting houses as college students and then having parties at night?
Wow, that was specific, and I don't know where that was from. But no, it wasn't. It wasn't that.
Maybe you don't know where it's from.
American Pie too, but okay.
Christ, Bill.
Yeah, the original really was where it's at.
That's the only one. I agree, Bill.
I agree.
If Shannon Elizabeth wasn't doing her dance, I wasn't going to tune into that American Pie.
Okay, that's fair. Can I say nothing? Was he traded for nothing?
Oh, very close. Very close. Should I give a
like-
hint or a multiple
Everything we
choice?
said has been very close.
Maybe
your clues
for-
are very
for the
shitty, just
Time
for the record.
considerations, we do multiple.
Well, you
choice.
never let me do clues.
Should we do clues tonight instead of giving us multiple choice?
Sure.
Yes, clues.
Okay.
Clues?
The clue is the answer that they're looking for. This is a monetary value. This was actually a cash transaction for Chris Draper.
$47 million.
Ooh,
I'm
a
gonna say
bit
it's
high. I
lower
believe you've
than that.
overbid.
I'm gonna say it's a lot lower.
$1.
I'm gonna
$1.
say-
$1, Nick. $1. Nick got
$10.
it.
Wow.
All right.
$1.
$1.
I was just going with the low. I was just going with the low.
God, this is Price is
They,
Right.
they picked him up
You
on an
went too
episode of
high.
Price is Right. You are correct.
Oh my God.
That was it.
$1?
That was it.
I bet.
It doesn't even say who
Oh,
traded
man.
him for $1.
They were
I
like,
like
get
it.
the
I
fuck
feel-
out of here.
Bill, not a fan of Chris Draper, apparently, given how
I
much he
didn't-
said he overpaid.
That's not what I said. I said that you guys were saying
Oh,
like a
no.
bag of pucks. You couldn't get a bag of pucks for $1. A bag of dicks.
No,
I'm
you
not
can't.
sure
Yeah, you
what
can't
the
get
going
it.
rate is.
No.
Can't
Wow.
even I don't even think you can get a can of soda these days for $1. I feel like a can of soda is $1.25.
Yeah, it's plus $1. It's not great.
You get a handful of bazooka, maybe. Bazooka still 5 cents.
You could take that whole sheet of pennies that they leave at the counter. You could just take that for $1.
From the crippled children?
Yeah. That's for that. You don't take that?
That the throw in the crippled children? I don't understand. Like, what are they gonna do with pennies?
Impressions with Nick.
Fucking great.
But actually, we're getting a call on the hotline. Hello,
No.
caller, are you there?
No.
Y'all hear me? Y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, wait, maybe a little louder, sir.
Y'all hear me? This is Randy Travis. How
Oh.
y'all doing?
Yeah, Randy.
Hey.
How are you, buddy?
Yeah.
Hey.
I miss you
Favorite
all season,
podcast
Randy.
crew.
This-
Hey, Tomcast. I love it, buddy. I love it.
Oh,
course
you're
you do.
listening, buddy. We appreciate that.
This
Oh.
was inevitable, I feel.
Steven, my dude. We're gonna
Hi,
be
Randy.
we're gonna be in a real knockout game in the coming series. Are you excited? I can't wait. I can't wait.
I am very excited, Randy. I look forward to the contest between our two NHL hockey clubs, especially given I know you know nothing about hockey.
Listen, all I know is that we scored a lot of goals. Lit the lamp. I was high on cheerwine. I could not believe it. We beat those pesky Islanders. We got through them, and now we're coming for you and your Devils. Ah!
Can't wait, Randy. I'm so glad you're on the phone with us.
Steven, I know you can't see me, but I did the Seinfeld one. Devils. Ah!
No, I got it, Randy. Thanks.
Buddy.
Yeah, appreciate the explanation though, because comedy always
Impressions
works
with
that way.
Randy.
I'm gonna take a picture. I'm gonna send it to you so you can see what I'm doing because I don't
Yeah.
think you can see what I'm doing. So I'm
I'll
gonna
probably
send you a
see it in
picture.
3 weeks because you'll take the picture, then you're going to have to get it developed at the local photomat, and then you're going to have to mail it to me. So I'll probably see it in 3 weeks because I know you don't know how to use a cell phone.
Okay, I'll get back to you on that one because that's
Mhm.
pretty fair. I'm not quite sure how to use this
Right.
newfangled thing, so we'll see what we can do at the Piggly Wiggly. We'll figure it out.
So Randy, thanks for jumping on. We're really short on time today.
So
But
Randy,
we
who
really-
do you got in this series? You're gonna go with the Devils or
man.
you
Who do
gonna
you
go with
think
the
he's got, you
Hurricanes?
idiot? Why did you have to ask him that?
Well, I was thinking about this one, and I think it's going to have to go to a holy game 7. We can't have a evil game 6. We're going to have to skip right over
Oh
that.
God, yeah,
Straight
of course.
to game
Not the
7.
number 6. We get it.
With the Carolina Hurricanes going to win this one. Go on to the next one. I can't wait. It's going to
They're
be a
going to
great
win this
series.
one and go
Yeehaw.
on to the next one. Well, the next
So, Randy,
one
you
being
think-
the Eastern Conference Final. You mean? Is that what you mean?
I believe that's what it's called, Steven. You're the expert. I'm not, obviously. So thank
Clearly.
you. Thank you for
So
correcting
Randy,
me.
you think the Canes are gonna exercise the Devils
Oh
in
God,
7?
shut
Oh.
up! Don't
Oh, I
play
can't
into
wait.
this. What are you doing?
I'm gonna be going to church every day this week,
Of course
praying
you
for
are.
my team.
Do
Ugh,
you
I'll
really
be
think
praying
that's
for
an
you,
effective use of
Steven.
God's time to worry about a silly hockey game? Randy,
I mean,
people are
yeah.
dying all over the world, and you think wasting God's time with prayers about a hockey game?
He smited the Rangers. You should be happy.
Sebastian Aho gave me a lot of hope, and he gives me a lot of joy. I think he does the same for many other Caniacs in North Carolina
Maniacs.
and
Oh,
even South
God.
Carolina.
Maniacs, yeah. Douche chills.
Well,
like I
Randy,
said,
how's
Randy,
the missus doing?
right,
Rhonda was
short
chick-
on time. We don't.
She's all right. She was
We-
choking on a bone a little earlier, but she's feeling a little bit better right now.
Yeah, I bet she was. She was sharing that with the dog. Were they both down on the all fours next to the bowl, chewing on the same bone?
I don't think that's very nice of you, Steven. I
Oh,
hear
yeah.
what you're implying, but that's
Okay.
not too nice of you. I'll be praying for you this weekend.
Thanks, buddy.
God-
I appreciate it. And you know what?
God bless,
I
Steven.
won't do the same for you because fuck you.
All right. Well, thank you all for having me again. I truly appreciate all 4 of you.
Thanks,
All right, I'll
Randy.
take care.
Okay.
You have an
Yeah.
open seat.
You appreciate all
anytime you
4 of
wanna
us,
come
including
by,
the guy
and I
you
hope
never get
actually-
to speak with. That's
Hope
great.
you stop by next week so we can
Nope.
we can talk a little bit more in depth about the series with you.
Nope.
Maybe
All good.
maybe I'll make an appearance. We'll see.
No, it's fine. Thanks.
That would be
y'all.
fantastic, Randy.
Bye,
Randy Travis the third, ladies and gentlemen.
See you, Randy. Come on back soon, y'all. You hear?
Oh, please. It's always such a treat when he comes on. Such a treat.
Yeah.
Love that guy.
I'm surprised he was happy to talk with Nick. It never seems like Nick is around when he hears. Nick just ran to the bathroom, and again, here comes
I
Randy
mean,
somehow.
listen, Randy just calls me out of nowhere. So, I just got to talk to him for a while. You guys don't have to sit on the phone for an hour
Oh,
with him.
God,
So,
no,
just be.
I would put a bullet
be
in
happy.
my mouth if that was the case. I
Mm,
cannot listen
tasty.
to that accent for more than what we just had.
It kind of grows on you, Steve.
No,
Gotta
he
say.
doesn't. No.
Puts me asleep sometimes. It's good.
All right, let's go to this date in Steve's stomach.
Oh, that feels better.
Brought to you by Coca-Cola Zero Sugar.
Right here, we're saving calories. Round here, we all look so lean. Round here, we enjoy Coke Zero, but sacrifice flavor, no. Round here, Coke Zero's the way to go.
Fuck that. fuck.
This one's going to bring us to
So
the year of
mad.
our Lord 2013. Please go to February 22nd, 22213.
Such an asshole. How do you listen to that accent? February the 22nd, 2013 was a Friday.
Ooh, Bagel Friday?
Breakfast was a half of an apple.
God,
What?
the fuck?
Jeez.
Why is
That's
that?
like a week's worth of fruit for this boy.
Writing. I don't believe you.
Lunch was a salad. and
Wow.
a can
Going
No
really healthy.
possible way.
of Coca-Cola Classic.
Dude, can I just say, if he's setting up with a half an apple for breakfast and a salad for lunch, he was planning to have some fucking wild ass fried
Crazy.
dinner.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Had to
Go
be.
30 minutes on the elliptical after work.
Oh, and exercise. This is Scorantino's night.
Dinner was a slice of white pizza and a slice of plain pizza with a can of Coca-Cola and a delicious after-dinner treat of milk and cookies, which were shared with none other than Tara Dorito. Because you can see right here, it says Tara over. Tara came for a visit.
So was I there?
No. She probably just needed a break from the three-headed monsters and
That's
came
probably
over.
true. What?
Uh,
Yeah, probably.
Why, Thomas, why did you pick February 22nd, 2013?
An apple?
Half of an apple.
Half of an
Half.
apple.
Oh,
Half of
sorry.
I don't know.
Sorry.
Full apple.
Half an apple. My apologies. Obviously, that was the day that a couple got arrested on Jacksonville Beach for having sex.
This happens in every city in Florida every day.
Police investigated, listen to this, a vehicle fire in the 500 block of North First Street in Jacksonville Beach.
Well, if you don't use lube, you're going to
but-
get that friction.
They got more than what they bargained for late Monday when they found a 29-year-old man and a 31-year-old woman having sex on the beach, according to Jacksonville Beach Police Department. Kathy Lynn Grenor.
Grenor?
No, it's G.
Okay.
Grenor. Grenon. Was arrested and charged of exposure of sexual organs. Is that a thing? And resisting an officer without violence. And David Charles, Aiuppy.
Ayupe!
But listen, both of these people, three names.
Yeah,
Three names.
no. Surprised they
They're
didn't kill
fucking
somebody in the
anyway.
process then.
David Charles was charged with arson to the vehicle as well as exposure. Officers were sent to Jacksonville Beach Pier parking lot at 5:40 p.m. after a report a vehicle was on fire, according to the police. Witnesses said the couple had been arguing and throwing things from the vehicle when the woman walked away. Can't take you anymore. Then that's when the man started to light the vehicle on fire.
And that was
then
the
left as he
aphrodisiac
went
that made her
to
want to
the
have
beach.
sex.
Yeah, he lit the car on fire, then went up to the beach to go talk to the woman. Officers found the couple engaged in sex on the sand in full view of other people and arrested them.
Tom's a creep. Tom is a weirdo. Where does he come up with the shit? It's so disgusting.
You guys don't know this, but this is a game down in Florida that they play. It's a TikTok trend. The game is called Cum or Cremation.
In 2013?
Yeah, no, it was very early on in
TikTok
TikTok.
thing.
So again, the game is called Cum or Cremation. You start the car on fire right before you start fucking. And either you come or you get burned alive inside the car.
Okay. That can't be real.
That's
But how pissed do you have to be at your wife to fucking light your car on fire and then go have a conversation and make up and have makeup sex on the beach? And, oh, honey, by the way, I lit the car on fire.
I am disgusted because I just came up with cum or cremation very quickly, and I feel like it didn't get anything. I feel
I
like that
couldn't
was
tell if it
kind
was
of
real or
funny.
not. I couldn't tell if it was real or
you can
not.
tell if it
honestly.
was real.
It is fucking Florida. Who the hell knows, man? Like the land of
But you
Ohio
didn't
and
know
Florida.
If it was real.
Could have
The
been a real
TikTok trend
thing.
from 2013.
It's really Steve sold it really well.
He
It's
did.
really early in TikTok, and I'm like, I don't know. This could be good. This
I
could be
feel like
real
it should
good.
have gotten
Steve,
more.
Steve,
than
when was TikTok created?
I
Was it
have
even
no idea.
What? It was not 2013.
I don't think the Chinese kid that created TikTok was even born in 2013 yet. Like,
Nah, he had to be. He had to be alive.
2016.
Well, there you go, Nick. There you go, buddy.
There you go.
Come
Still
or
feel
you
like
go.
it deserved better than what you guys gave it.
It did. But look, Nick bought it.
I bought it. Hook, line, and sinker. Dumbass.
All right. Don't forget to follow us on the Twitter at friends_rivals. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We will read them on the air if you want us to. Turn on notifications so you never miss an episode of the Friends and Rivals podcast. Billy, say something.
You know, I'm disappointed that she fucked the guy after he set the car on fire. I guess that's where I made the wrong move. I lit a fart and she didn't give me nothing, not even a handy.
Nick, did you want to just make Steve feel better?
Was
that the plan? Was that the plan? Because mission accomplished, buddy.
Oh, my friends and rivals. Flyers fuck, flyers fuck, flyers fuck off. Flyers fuck, flyers fuck, flyers fuck off.
I'm first again. I can't wait to see Tom pop up on the screen and then Steve pop up on the screen. And Nick's usually a couple minutes maybe after that, but he's so cool when he pops up on the screen. I can't wait to see them. I can't wait. It's podcast day. It's podcast day. Hooray. Podcast day. Podcast day. Hooray. And I know that's not going to be the intro because we're going with that Bruins announcer guy with the whole Hindenburg thing. What a jerk.